Alright fellas, here we're back in Pokemon Masters, and today we're going to be looking at the New Year's Seasonal Scout rerun, whatever you want to call it. So this is like the Super Spotlight Seasonal Scout, I think? Yeah. So obviously we know these banners don't have value, ever. They never release these things with value. The only time you should ever be going for a rerunning seasonal character is in the very low off chance that it's only a 2 featured character rerun, such as Spring, May, and Berg, considering they've never done any Spring seasonals ever since them, I guess. That's like the only example, and of course seasonal select scouts. So obviously it's always unfortunate, and we've not gotten a change for this yet. We should, hopefully, please, at least by next year. That would be nice to get a change in this format to increase rates, increase pull rates, value in general, etc. So obviously this sync pair scout is going to include all 6 of the rerunning New Year's sync pairs from New Year's Lisa and Dawn last year all the way to Lily and Lance back in 2021, very beginning of 2021. So again, banner has no value, but we're going to take a little overview of all of these characters, mostly just combined, just give you a decent overview of what they can do. So starting with Lance and Gyarados, they are a very solid flying striker, I guess, mostly on the special side, because flying special has like Anniversary Skyla and Signature Ethan. That's, off the top of my head, that is what I can think of when I think of a flying special striker. And so thankfully, Lance is pretty solid in applying the special side of the flying type. Not like an outrageous flying striker, but if you do want a little bit of a comparison, he was in contention with Anniversary Steven for overall flying prowess. So keep that in mind, I guess. His trainer move sucks. 33% damage for +1 accuracy, attack, and special attack. And I guess accuracy, attack, and special attack, and then charging gauge by 3. It's better than his normal trainer move from his Dragonite outfit, or Dragonite sync pair, but this is still not good. Potion for healing is good though, but run-of-the-mill. And then obviously Hyper Beam is a Lance trait. With 390 special attack, that's still a pretty solid stat even now, especially once you factor in the EX into level 150. He's got actually quite solid offensive stats, so combined again with Hyper Beam, he can actually do some solid damage. Power Flux 5, it's not the best of multipliers, but it is a multiplier. I forget how Power Flux is calculated. I think at 6 gauge, it applies this buff, so 50%. So if you have 6 gauge selected when you pick Hyper Beam, I guess it's a 50% multiplier. So obviously running 4 gauge for this multiplier is probably around 30%. Since 4/6, I forget what that 2/3 of 50%. That is what, like 20 to 40? No, I can't do math. Yeah, it's like 16. Yeah, so it's like 16. So about 32% of a multiplier there, I think. Not bad, obviously, for sure. Adrenaline 1 for sync countdown and whatnot. And then when it goes to his grid, honestly, his grid's nothing really crazy. It's really just Raging Rain 2, and that's pretty much it. I guess you also have like Hostile Environment for extra paralysis chance on bounce, which I would probably never use other than like Gauntlet and whatnot for tanking maybe. Paralysis synergy on Hyper Beam if you want extra damage. Sync Quickening restoring MP, literally just for bounce. Dire Rain 2 for bounce. Really, his grid is not really worth anything. Terrify 1, Refreshing Rain. See, these are all just very niche picks. Pressure Cooker, reducing sync countdown when in a pinch. Yeah, no. All I would say is that the only good things are Shower Power and Raging Rain 2, and really it's not required. If you want to pick up Lance, he only needs 1 copy to function, and he can clear flying weak stages still without any issue. I would not go any farther than that, though. I would not claim anything else. But I mean, I've used Anniversary Steven, so maybe he can off-type. Who knows? Going on to New Year's Lily and Rabombi here. Dire Hit All Plus for some crit buffs. Very good back in the day. Alola Lang Sign, being able to apply evasion buffs. Also this, how do you, what the fuck? I hate this word. Because it's the name of a character in another show that I watch, and it's said very differently for whatever reason. Anyway, I digress. Raising evasion of all allies is actually a very unique trait. I don't think any other character can raise all allies evasion other than, like, I think Janine can do it with NPR, but Lily does it a lot more consistently. It's still a very unique trait. Move gauge boost for gauge restoration. Team sync regen for a little bit of gradual healing. Team Out Muscle, 20% chance to raise ally attack when the opponent attack move misses the target, which I'm pretty sure at +6 evasion, it's only a 50% dodge chance, which is good, but you have to proc a 50% chance and then a 20% chance for 1 attack buff. If this is like 3, then sure, or fucking 4 or something, but still, no, this sucks. Q Cutter, reducing sync countdown by 1 when a target misses an attack on the user. That's good, even if it is lower chance, because random sync countdown is a lot more impactful than a random +1 attack buff. It is, it really is. But honestly, I wouldn't say, this is not really a great base kit. It's literally just evasion buffs, crit buffs, really crappy healing, because leech life damage isn't going to be that great, and also because her attack stat is not worth anything, and then gradual healing, really, and then sync countdown. Not to mention her bulk stats suck. These bulk stats are pretty much reliant on her dodge, which if you don't dodge, well, good luck. You're taking about half your health, because that's a really low HP stat for a support, and these defensive stats are mediocre at best. These are literally equivalent to like a 4-star. Anyway, going into her grid, I'm pretty sure doesn't help anything. She gets Master Healer, Endurance, which does help, I guess, with the tanking problem. Fail Forward, Toughen Up for defense buffs, again, helping out a little bit. Ridicure for healing when enemies miss. Slippery Slope, raising the user's evasion when targeting attack of the user misses. This is your only other method of buffing evasion, because she doesn't have NPR on her trainer move. Or no, it does right here. Sorry, I'm a moron. Yeah, okay. So if you don't want to go for trainer move NPR, you go for Slippery Slope, despite the fact that it costs more energy and just to get to, let alone actually obtain. So good job. Plus 20 attack if you want to go for leech life damage. Sure. Yeah, no. Lily, I wouldn't say is all that amazing at all, but if you do want to pick her up, really base is all you need. The only thing she gets on the grid is some stuff to help out her tanking a little, and it's not enough, trust me. Like Toughen Up, Endurance, Ridicure, and whatnot, that stuff. And Master Healer, that's literally it. No, not really worth it. Again, her and Lance only 1 out of 5, and Lance I would say is probably, there's striker support. I can't really compare too much, but I mean, if you need a special flying striker, Lance is going to be more impactful than Lily as a support, I guess you could say. Going into New Year's Sabrina, definitely still missing those bulk stats. She's got the same problem as regular Sabrina. But again, you can EX her and whatnot, get those stats a little bit higher, but her HP is better, I guess. Because Lily's, ouch, hurts a little bit. Yeah, definitely better on the HP department than Lily, even if just by 100. Anyway, she's got X special attack for special attack buffs, condition shield to apply a status condition defense, clear your mind, restoring an ally's HP by 40%, and applying endurance. Be able to apply endurance to all allies, or selected allies, and not just have to have one bit of endurance in her grid. Definitely a little bit better than Lily. I don't know why I'm comparing her to Lily, but I guess I am. Team Smart Command 2, raising special moves next of all allies by 1 at a 30% chance when the trainer uses a move. Definitely good. Sharp Teamwork 2, same thing, but for crit. And then Aggravation 4 for a 50% confusion chance. She was pretty much like an introductory character into the Gauntlet era, I guess you could say, because she was good for the Gauntlet, because status condition defense, obviously the crit buffs taking a lot more time to activate, and this is for attack buffs, or attack moves, by the way, not trainer moves. Confusion obviously being more useful for like Yuxi or whatever enemies need status changes. Not Cobalion. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, so she's definitely more of a Gauntlet-based support, especially now, because of the healing and all that as well. Then going into her grid, Master Healer trainer move, group therapy, restoring status conditions when using the condition shield. I don't know why you would want to apply healing to your status conditions when you are applying a status condition negating ability. This is basically like if you already got status, but really you could just prevent it by restarting the battle, applying this before the enemy uses their status move, I guess. So it's iffy. Guarded entry to raise her defenses by 1 on entry. This helps with her poor bulk, even with 6-star EX. Sync Free for All, applying gauge efficiency. Healthy healing for her own healing. Team Tough Luck 4, raising defenses. This is basically Team Shout, but for defense buffs. Defense and special defense. Recuperation 2, restoring HP by 40% after using the sync move. This is repeatable, so you've actually got a good method of healing her as long as you use her sync move only. So if you're running her with characters who have horrible nukes, you can just keep using her sync move in order to keep her healthy. Not a bad idea. X special attack ramped up if you need faster special attack buffs and don't want to rely on NPR. Confusion move gauge refresh 9 if you don't want her to be a gauge liability. This is actually more useful than you think. Like absorb move gauge refresh 9 on Special Costume Jasmine has been really useful for me. Premonition 2, reducing damage when hit by a move in Psychic terrain, not really useful. Precognition, same thing. Psychic Stasis, really just, these are Psychic terrain limited abilities, so only if you're really running her in Psychic terrain. These are decent grid abilities for sure. Obviously, most of her stuff is still in her base kit, like most sync pairs tends to be, especially on the support aspect. I would say that your best stuff, though, is her gauge sufficiency, help here, as well as being able to heal up with recuperation. Healthy healing, kind of, but not really. I just go for the turn move master healer at the end of the day. Probably something like this if you are going to grid her. Probably not go for the X special attack ramped up, really. And if you do want to go for sync free for all, you're going to have to sacrifice some stuff up here. Probably all of it, realistically, because this is a lot of energy to use just to get up there. So probably something like this. So, yeah. Either way, it really just depends how you want to go about it. But she does have a decent grid, but mostly for Gauntlet. Really not if you're going to be using her for the Stadium. The only thing that's useful for the Stadium is Ramp Up 1, where you need faster buffs. That's pretty much it. Okay, and Vulner. Vulner, from what I remember, is literally only good against super effective electric stages because he was the only really viable electric character back then, for the most part. That's what I remember. Because if I look at Vulner, the characters that released around Vulner, you had Classic Lisa, who had just released that month prior, literally like 2 weeks prior, something like that. Sonya, who's a support, Marnie, come on, Aura Wheel, really. Then you had N, who was a solid enough option, and then you had to go back down to like Elisa and Hao. Yeah. So Vulner was your only real special attacking option, and again, besides Classic Elisa, who was another limited character. So that's why he is pretty much only good against Electric Weak stages, because people needed special Electric, especially because they also were, I think, let's see, they released the Sinnoh Elite Four like half a year later. Not even. I think they may have actually released the Sinnoh Elite Four in April of that year, 2022, I think. It was around that time. Either way, yeah. So Vulner was very, very good for the Aaron stage. That was fun. That was universally fun. God, I hate that stage. Anyway, he's got very high special attack, especially for now. This is still a very good special attack stat. Very good. Discharge for AoE damage, Thunder for single target, buffing his special attack, it's electric, raising his speed, his crit, and accuracy. Super duper 9, applying super duper, fucking Christ, I can't. Super duper effective next when its move is super effective. Super freebie, 30% chance to apply free moves next when the move is super effective. And conductive sync, applying electric terrain when using the sync move the first time each battle. So basically what you would expect from a striker. He wants to be super effective, especially back then when being super effective was what really mattered. Now it's pretty much off typing. Even back then, off typing was important, but like they were still really focused on making sure every single type had some sort of coverage, but now not really so much. Every type is pretty much solidified and having its own way to cover different stadium stages, so it's mostly off typing. And then looking at his grid, it's literally just a bunch of multipliers. Ramming speed, that's good. Static shock, 3 and 5. Double down, 3. Super savvy, raising special attack when its move is super effective. Super crit, raising crit when the move is super effective. Shock recovery. Thunder super countdown 1, 20% sync countdown when the move is 20% chance at a sync with countdown when the move is super effective. Thunder paralysis synergy. Honestly, if we don't count the super effective stuff, because he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine. Then this is probably what you're running with. Really, ramming speed is probably his best overall multiplier. Which, I mean, hitting a 148 power move with 468 special attack with a 30% multiplier, 50% if we were able to actually pick up the paralysis synergy. It's not the worst thing in the world. I wouldn't use his nuke, hell no. Anyway, yeah, I mean, Vulner, he's fine, I guess, especially if you do want to do special electric stages. Obviously, I mean, he's not going to struggle. No real issue there. Anyway, I digress, yeah, so let's go ahead and go to the next seasonal, which I'm pretty sure, yeah, Dawn. So this is where we start getting into the actually, like, solid sync pairs, for the most part. Dawn here was very gimmicky back when, not gimmicky, we thought she was going to be very gimmicky, because basically her move here, extra special ghost damage, it basically makes it so she does a second Revelation Dance. You hit Revelation Dance once, and then you basically do it again. We didn't know if this damage is going to be similar to, like, Signet Suit Cyrus's damage, gradual damage, or if it was going to be something else, and well, it was something else. It it was basically literally equivalent to another Revelation Dance. She uses Feather Dance to lower enemy attack, Teeter Dance to leave the enemies confused, and then her Perfect Dance, Trainer move, restoring her HP by 40%, raising evasion, and applying stat reduction defense to the eye field of play. And then Elegant Celebration Ghost Beam, the more her stats are raised, the greater the power of this attack. And then she has stat up ×2 when the user's stat is raised by double the stat ranks. Pretty sure this applies for support moves as well, so if a support ally was to raise their special attack by 2, it raises it by 4. Double drop, doubling enemy stat debuffs, so very good with the attack debuffing, right? And then again, extra special ghost damage deals additional damage to the target when the user's Pokemon uses a move targeting that opponent. This additional damage is not affected by some status changes. Whatever. I forget how she gets stat buffs or is meant to get stat buffs. I really do. But either way, she's got grab in the grid. She's got grab bag 9 here, lowering targets one random stat by 1, and again it's by double with the double drop, so nice. Interference sync 5, which is good for the confusion there, so it's extra buffs. Master healer on the trainer move if you need extra healing for her for whatever reason. Power posture, powering up her moves when the more the enemy's attack is lowered, which again very easy to debuff attack. Sync power flux for a sync multiplier. Charging infliction 4, charging gauge by 4 when using a status move. It's basically giving her back double the gauge, which is pretty good. Stop hitting herself, and then again, that's pretty much it. I forget how Dawn is actually meant to buff her offensive stats. I don't know. I guess by a support. Yeah, literally just by a support. Sure, I guess. Either way, it's really weird and gimmicky, but she's not bad for sure. She's definitely very good in the ghost damage department, especially because there is lacking in terms of other options. Let's be honest with ourselves. I think Power Posture is probably a DPS. That's probably pretty good to go for, considering her Revelation Dance lands literally twice. So you can get that pretty much double damage in there. Take whatever Revelation Dance would do and double it. It's not too bad. But you could also, of course, go for the nuke because she does have 120% in multipliers here, 50% here, and then an extra 100% here if you get all 6 gauge. Whatever that is, getting 4 out of 6. I'm not going to do the math again. It's probably around like 60%, give or take. So there you go. Not bad in terms of multipliers for sure. And then DPS is definitely not too horrible, especially with power posture. So not a bad ghost attacker. And then of course New Year's Licia, our final character here. She's basically like New Year's Vulner, but more modern, if anything. 404 attack. Giga Impact Fairy, so you can pretty much see she was meant to be a physical fairy attacker. That's pretty much what she was built for, because physical fairy did not have a prowess, and still mostly doesn't outside of BP Valerie and Licia. Pretty much it. I mean, if we look, we got Mina with her grid expansion, maybe. Garbage. I'm not kidding, and I'm not going to apologize for that. But then once you go past that, like, special... You got Marnie, yeah. You got yourself Summer Marnie, who's now actually quite solid. So there you go. And then again, BP Valerie. So New Year's Licia is basically meant to capitalize on physical fairy, whereas for special fairy, you had options like Signasuit Wally, Diantha mostly because they were very synergistic. But for physical fairy, you ran New Year's Licia, and then everyone who chose New Year's Licia, myself included, on the Select Scout for the 4th anniversary, ended up getting screwed because then they gave us BP Valerie, who basically is like a mini New Year's Licia on super effective stages, if not better. I don't know. Either way, whatever. She's got Dire Hit Plus to max her crit, her trainer move, which raises her attack and speed by 4 and applies physical moves next at random from 0 to 3. Again, Giga Impact. It's Hyper Beam, but physical with 404 attack. Come on, she's like Lance, especially with that attack stat. And then her abilities here, Fairy Shift to make Giga Impact and Quick Attack Fairy, and then Super Sync 9, applying super effective next after using the user's sync move, and then Team Antitoxin. For whatever reason, sure. And then, of course, we go into the grid. She's a very basic character. If you're not noticed, she's very, very basic. Trainer move, Critical Eye. If you don't want to have to use another Dire Hit Plus after using the trainer move, you can just Dire Hit Plus, trainer move, and then start whamming away with Giga Impact or Quick Attack. Whimsical Acceleration for Gauge Acceleration, Trainer Move Super Preparation for super effective damage, Ramming Speed and Inertia, of course, are your biggest things. Weird Vibes, I don't know why you would pick it up, but if you are running her for some reason with a fairy, or a Psychic Terrain support, not even support, just a Psychic Terrain character, then there you go. I guess like Signasuit Lana, but they don't synergize at all, so I don't know why. Quick Attack Super Duper Effective 3 if you need extra damage and Giga Impact you don't have any gauge for or something. Quick Attack Defense Crush if you want defense debuffs. Fast Track 9 on Quick Attack, whatever. Again, she is extremely basic. You would really just pick up Inertia, I guess. Weird vibes for fucking some reason. I don't know. You can do whatever you want and just pick up this stuff. I guess she's got psychic stuff because it's Galarian Rapidash and it's psychic type, but why? Whatever. Sure. Either way, and then that's pretty much it, really. You just pick up Inertia, Ramming Speed, and then pick up pretty much whatever else you want. Depends on what you're running. Maybe NPR on Quick Attack in case you don't have Gauge, Critical Eye if you want more self-sufficiency. Run really whatever you want. Licia is not really too greedy in what she needs. You could run even the Sync nodes, obviously. Generally, you probably want to run those. That'll be pretty good. Probably be pretty good for you. She's not bad though, for sure. Does some great fairy damage. Not really necessary though, especially with the existence of VP Valerie. I wouldn't say any of these characters are really necessary or any like super spectacular anymore. I mean, if we look at them all, Lance is easily replaced by any other flying attacker, and if you have Signature Ethan, well, he's basically just washed. He's washed up. Nah, I like him though. And then you got Lily, who is only really good for crit and evasion buffing, and you better hope she dodges or else she's going to take like all of her health and damage. New Year's Sabrina is great. Not great, but she's pretty good for the Gauntlet, especially. But could be decent enough, I guess, against Stadium stages. You got Vulner, who is really only spectacular against electric stages. Do consider Thunder. It's not really the highest power move. Dawn, who's really good against Ghost stages. Same with Licia. And Vulner, of course, on their respective stages. Obviously, all these attackers are going to be pretty good. But Dawn and I wouldn't say Licia, mostly just Dawn. I'd say Dawn has the most potential to actually be solid in other situations, but that's mostly because of her tech stuff, where she's got stat up, double drop, her extra Revelation Dance, her attack debuffs again, Teeter Dance for Confusion. She's got the most utility. Most of these characters, though, really pretty old. In these two cases, it's 1 year old and relatively dated, I guess. So this Vulner obviously did not hold much value to start with, and really the character options in it, they don't hold much value either. They do look cool though. I honestly like all of them in terms of outfit and design, but they're also all like kimonos for the most part. So I mean, come on, not really too much to screw up there. I honestly do like all these characters. I still do want New Year's Lance, but I'm probably gonna save him for a Striker Scout. Unless I can find a good reason to not pick him up, because I can't think of any seasonals that I wouldn't want otherwise, or that I would want more than him, really. I guess like Liza, sure. Nah, honestly, I'd say if we get another seasonal select scout and it's like Striker specifically, I'm probably choosing Lance, personally. Anyway, yeah, I digress. That's my thoughts for the New Year's Super Spotlight Seasonal Scout. Never held value. Not really worth messing with at all. Definitely just go for Claire or Wallace if you really do desire a New Year's character. Wallace is pretty good. Claire is solid enough. So yeah, pick those up. Anyway, yeah, I digress. I'll see you all later. Hope you all enjoyed. Good luck on your Super Spotlight Seasonal Scouts. If you summons, I guess, if you opt to go for them. I'm sorry if you do. And yeah, I'll see you all later.